Manufacturing is currently the fifth largest employer here in the United States with more than 12 million jobs. However, as recently as 2011, there were as many as 600,000 vacancies as employers couldn't find skilled workers to fill them. For the next few minutes, we'll discuss legislation that would help recruit and train diverse manufacturing workforce. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Robert Traynham, and I'm joined today by Congressman Marc Veasey. He's a Democrat from Texas. Congressman, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Robert. Appreciate being on.
You know, what's really interesting is that we keep hearing over and over and over again how everyone needs to become proficient in code and how you have to have a four-year college degree or perhaps maybe even a graduate degree for all of these white-collar jobs. But I don't think we've had a national conversation about manufacturing jobs, things or companies that still make things in this country, whether it's cars or perhaps maybe it's this pen or this desk. I mean, that is something that is still the bedrock of our economic security, is it not?
No, absolutely. It is the bedrock of our economic security, and you're right. We have not been having the conversation, and we certainly need to have the conversation because we know that there's a real skills gap out there. I can tell you on the various tours that I've been on in my district, going to defense contractors like Bell Helicopter and Lockheed Martin, other companies that rely on robotics to do much of their manufacturing work, but the people have to be able to operate the robots.
Sure.
That there is certainly a lack of individuals out there that have the education, that have the skill set in order to be trained to work in these various positions.
And Congressman, that was going to be my next question. Is it a lack of education and training that is this skills gap, $600,000 gap, if you will, or 600,000 job gap?
Right.
Or is it a lack of interest?
It certainly could be a little bit of both. Oftentimes, a lot of the young people don't know about the opportunities that are out there. And one of the things that I'm really encouraged by is that you are starting to see, more partnerships between community colleges and high schools to let these kids know about, what other opportunities are out there, particularly if they decide that they don't want to go to a traditional four-year college, that community college can fill and help them, compete for some of these jobs. And the other part of it is certainly a skills gap. I mean, many of the employers that I've talked to, of course, during Congressional Black Caucus, during our annual legislative conference, I have covered this subject twice now. And many of the companies that are there that do manufacturing that have come and spoken on my panel, they'll tell you that a lot of the kids that are graduating from high school today, even though the job only requires a high school diploma, they do not have the skill set to compete for the work.
And to that point, Congressman, tell us about the Manufacturing Extension Partnership Program.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I am working on some legislation right now that would help bridge the gap between students and kids that are graduating from high school and the employers. Some of the things that the companies are saying that the kids don't have, whether it's the technical skills or the know-how to be able to operate the robots, the skills that you need, the problem-solving abilities that you need to be able to do these new jobs. And what I always like to tell kids, particularly when I'm going out in the district and I'm speaking at churches and at schools, it's not your grandfather's manufacturing job anymore. I mean, it's really not your dad's manufacturing job anymore.
These are highly specialized jobs
these
that
are
you have to
highly
be trained for.
Absolutely. These are highly specialized jobs that you need to be trained for, and just because it says high school diploma only required doesn't mean that you can get it. And let me tell you, some of these jobs pay really good. I mean, you take a place like our local defense contractors in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Lockheed Martin, Bell Helicopter. You're talking about an average salary of about $77,000 a year. That's pretty good money in Texas.
Absolutely.
And there are college people that have college degrees that want these jobs now, and they're competing for these jobs that don't require a high school diploma.
Congressman Marc Veasey, Democrat from Texas, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Keep up the good work here in the Congress.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for joining us for this edition of Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Robert Traynham. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Immigration reform continues to be a hot topic here in Washington, and for the next few minutes we'll discuss comprehensive immigration reform. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Robert Traynham, and I'm joined today by Congressman Marc Veasey. He's a Democrat from Texas. Congressman, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Robert.
You come from a border state, so you know this issue very well.
Absolutely.
Congress has been dealing with immigration reform or comprehensive immigration reform for quite some time. Ronald Reagan was in the White House the last time we had immigration reform back in 1986. George W. Bush, a person you probably know very well, tried to bring this topic to our national part of our national conversation back in 2006. He got his hand slapped because Republicans said, no, we don't want this. When are we going to have a national conversation about immigration reform?
You know, we've been having a lot of conversations. What we really need is action. Of course, I applaud the president for the executive action that he took to address part of the issue, but we know it's much broader than that. And whether it's industry, whether it's these families that are affected, everyone will tell you that we need comprehensive immigration reform. I mean, it's all of the issues that the Republicans talk about, border security, economics, all of those things could be addressed with a comprehensive bill. And the thing that Democrats talk a lot about, as far as the families are concerned, we know that the best way how to make sure these families' needs are met, that they never have to worry about being split up or being torn apart, is by having a comprehensive bill. I think it's about time. I think that we've had lots of conversations. I think that we need to move beyond even what the president has done and finally get a comprehensive bill passed.
Congressman, some conservatives would say there is an immigration law on the books, and it basically says that you have some paperwork that you have to fill out. There's a process in place, and if in fact you cross the border or enter this country illegally, you've broken the law, and that's disrespectful to all the people that follow the law and necessarily stand in line for 1, 2, 3 years, however long it's going to be. So in other words, we just simply need to enforce current law. Your response?
Oh, I would say, that's not what people were saying when individuals that are here undocumented were coming over here to work, when they were filling jobs that quite frankly, couldn't be met. And when you look at our agriculture, when you look at other industries, if it were not for the undocumented and their families, those needs would not be met, and we would have a huge gap in our economy here, especially in Texas and border states, but not just border states, all around the country. And so what I say to them is that the law that we have on the books right now is broken. It needs to be fixed. And again, the best way how to do that is to pass a comprehensive bill, because again, everybody wants it. I mean, look at what happened in the Senate in the 113th Congress. Overwhelmingly passed. You had conservatives, you had Democrats, you had so many people voting for this bill. You have the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. You look at unions. You look at again the families that are out there, the advocacy groups that are backing immigration reform. It's something that everyone can be behind. It's something that I think would unify us as a country, and so we need to move forward.
Congressman, we have about 45 seconds left. The country is getting browner and browner. There's no doubt about it that the white majority that was the majority in this country will become the minority probably by 2030 or so. Are you optimistic that comprehensive immigration reform will pass this Congress within the next 2 years, if not sooner?
I don't want to make any predictions on when it will pass, just because, first of all, everything around this place moves really slowly. And secondly, we know that it needs to be done, but the politics behind it are such that it's hard to make any predictions. But I know that for people like me and these families and these businesses, that, the time is now.
The time is now. Congressman Marc Veasey, Democrat from Texas, a person who knows this issue very, very well. Thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Robert.
Keep up the great work. And thank you for joining us for this edition of Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Robert Traynham. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.